Hi and welcome to this week's FridAI with me, Billy McLaughlin, where I cut through the fuss and get to the fact on the big bad world of AI and what it means for us as accountants, bookkeepers and finance professionals. This week we have seen news from TikTok who are going to allow users to decide how much AI generated content they see. They have said that on their videos now it will show that it is AI made, which does raise questions as to whether when we are preparing accounts we should maybe have a stamp that says it was AI prepared, even if it is reviewed by a human. We've also seen that Jeff Bezos has got back into the trenches with an AI startup, and I can only imagine the investment there. Talking of investments, there's been some leaked documents from OpenAI and how much they paid Microsoft. I'll give you a clue, it was up to close to $500 billion in 2024, and just the 9 months that has been reported for 2025, we're talking $866 million, and that's just the 20% revenue share that they get. Also in news from OpenAI, ChatGPT have supposedly sorted out their M- issue. So let me know if you've noticed a change in that as well. Before we get started, you may have been affected by the Cloudflare outage this week. So if you were, this was something that really hit home to accountants and bookkeepers on how much they rely on AI because they couldn't actually access things like ChatGPT. I also think our friends at Accounting Web were sadly down for a while, but ultimately, it's important to know that this was not a cybercrime attack. This was nothing malicious. It happened to be a bug in the system, which ironically I think was created by a bot, but let's not go there. And yeah, I think the messaging really that gets across to us is what do we do as a backup when these things fail? So just something for you to think about going out of this week. Google have also announced a new shopping feature. Again, I always like to talk about our clients and what it means for them. So this is a conversational AI shopping tool. There's a few things to bear in mind here. So first of all, this is going to be able to identify products that consumers want to buy based on conversation and natural language. So you can have that chat and it can kind of help you decide what it is you want to buy. And also they're going to release this AI tool that can essentially call up shops and ask if they've got stock in on your behalf. A few things. First of all, this is going to massively increase impulse buying. I personally, absolutely screwed. Goodbye bank balance. However, it's also really interesting to think that your clients are going to have super uptight inventory and stock systems, because if AI is going to be calling their store or their business and asking if they've got product in, they need to have information up to date to the second. This is not in just yet, but as always, if we can get our clients up to date, we can get the systems airtight now. When these AI and agentic kind of systems come into place, your clients are going to be ready and they're going to be so thankful for you that they were. LinkedIn is also jumping on the AI bandwagon. So this week they have announced over in the US and to premium users only that you can do searches for people using keywords that are not necessarily in that person's profile. So the idea here is that AI can read their posts, read their profile and gather information on that person and then return results. So as an example, you may say, I want an accountant that specializes in crypto. Even if your potential person hasn't written that in their profile, it can look through previous posts, maybe recommendations and reviews that they've got on their LinkedIn and recommend them over to you. So two things here. First of all, talent. This is going to make it so much easier to search for that niche talent we're after. And also, if your clients or potential clients are hanging out on LinkedIn, it's going to give them a bit more of a chance of finding you if you are in a specific niche or you've got a great skill set that you want to shout about, but you're not very good at doing so. I'm not sure how this looks in terms of what they actually do under the hood, but I would say you may start wanting to increase your LinkedIn profile if AI is going to be getting involved. Now for some apps in our space, and the first one I am so delighted to talk about. So I mentioned Hey Monica a few months ago when they launched, and they are effectively a simulation tool for bookkeeping. And the way this works is fantastic for work experience. So if you've got a trainee, you don't want to let them loose on your actual clients just yet. This will simulate clients and workflows and tasks that generally get brought up when doing bookkeeping. The great news I wanted to share with you is that Hey Monica just won the AI Innovation Award at the LUCA Awards, and that really sets the tone for what we need in this industry. The other reason why I wanted to mention them is Zoe Whitman, who also picked up an award for the bookkeepers here at very, very well deserved, is doing a weekly update on what Hey Monica has, what new features they've brought out. So do go over to her profile and check that out as well if you are interested. Intuit next, and their humongous investment. Before I go on to that though, I do want to say they must have gone absolutely ham last week on finfluencers. That's really hard to say. The influencers in the accountancy and bookkeeping space. And that's because I must have seen a dozen of the same posts talking about their growth gap report, which is absolutely fine because it did have a statistic in there that was probably the most accurate, I'd say. Didn't seem too far-fetched, which was that 38% of practitioners are saving around a day a week due to AI. So great thing for you to benchmark against because your competitors are saving that time. If you feel like you're not and you need a bit of support, please drop me a message. I'd love to help you out with that because it is possible. Your competitors are doing it. You should also be saving a day a week and using AI properly. Anyway, that was not the headline I was talking about. The headline I'm talking about is the multi-year $100 million deal that Intuit have picked up with OpenAI. And the idea here is that Intuit wants to use the technology behind OpenAI to support and power their agents. You may have seen this. Intuit are going absolutely crazy for agents, which is great if they work. And obviously they need the data. What I find mental is that only just last week, the week before, there was news that ChatGPT can't give financial information. Whereas now, if your client's data has been fed into the system, they can essentially use that for things like complex tax queries, draft tax returns, sourcing loans, even forecasting cash flows. However, it does say that with permission, the tools can pull in the business and personal information. So obviously your clients will have to opt in to allow that to happen, but Intuit are going to be rolling this across all of their products. I know we don't have Credit Karma and TurboTax over here, but MailChimp and QuickBooks we absolutely do. And I just think they're going to have to be a bit more transparent about where the information is coming from, where it's going and what's going to be done with it. And that's because they are planning on allowing financial insights to come straight from that chat interface. Now, what I would say is that your clients are going to start questioning why your systems and your processes are not as smooth as ChatGPT's if they're going to start using this, and also questioning whether they should be paying you certain amounts because they're able to access this information elsewhere. So make sure if they can do these smart actions over on the product that you're positioning yourself with this crazy USP. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on this because this feels like Intuit are potentially kind of dropping that relationship with accountants and going straight to the end user with having this AI capability. My point here is please do not forget that as accountants and bookkeepers, we are far more than data entry people. We can provide that context, that clarity, that trust. We have experience, and we just really need to make sure that we can position ourselves like that to our clients. And finally, a little bit of fun from 11 Labs, who have collaborated with some celebrities. So I did a demonstration of 11 Labs over at DAS, the Digital Accountancy Show, this year. They are the AI-powered voice tools, so you can either have avatars that recognize your voice and essentially create a script based on that, or you can have one that they make up. Well, now, instead of having the AI ones, they've collaborated with the likes of Michael Caine and Matthew McConaughey. So if your clients would love their accounts to be read to them by Matthew McConaughey, I think it would probably send me to sleep because it's a very relaxing voice, then it's worth letting them know that this is a possibility. On a negative note, it does also kind of really put forward that risk of AI voice fraud that your clients and your team need to be aware of. But just a little bit of fun. I like it. I'd like to see what other celebrities they've got on the list as well. That is everything from me this Friday. I hope you've had a fantastic week. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.